So let's just say I've been traveling and working online in Japan for the past 2 years. Okay, maybe 2 years and a half. And I'll let you know the real deal, what's true and what's lies. Maybe I'll just tell you the truth. That might be easier. Let's get straight into it. Number one, it's very expensive to do this. This is not so when you see nomads and stuff like that on the internet, they're usually in, how can I say, cheap, I don't want to say cheap countries, but they're in places like Bali or, I don't know, somewhere where the cost of living is really cheap if you're getting paid in foreign currencies. These digital nomads go to places like Bali or Thailand, Vietnam, South America, like Argentina, where maybe the average local income is around $1,000 or something. I don't know. Don't take me up on that information. But anyway, they go to countries where it's a lot cheaper to live. Japan, on the other hand, is not one of those countries which you can go in with $1,000 a month and just do what you want. You need way more than that. And so my average, I'll be honest, if I'm going around Japan and nomading, I'm spending between 3K to 5K a month. That's how much it costs. So if you see, so most of these people in these countries that go and a digital nomad with all their smiles and, you know, all that stuff that it's fake. It's not fake, it's real. What am I trying to say here? So what I'm trying to say is Japan is really expensive to be one of those digital nomads who go around Argentina or Southeast Asia. It's not cheap at all. My average costs will be between 3 to 5K a month because there's too many things you have to pay for. I mean, let's just break down real simple payments or real simple costs. In Fukuoka, anyway, this is kind of a popular place to hang out, doing something around here. Right now, it's really quiet. So you're going to be spending at least $1,000 a month on rent or backpacking or hotels. That's the cheap end, $1,000. If you're going to be in a proper business hotel, not even the top end, expect to pay at least $1,500 to $2,000 a month. So that's the actual price there. If you're going to really crappy backpackers, yeah, maybe $1,000 a month, and it depends on the season. So that's number one is the cost of accommodation. It's not cheap. The other one is cost of transportation, which is not cheap as well. So if you want to be a digital nomad around Japan, you're going to go to each city. Traveling between them, you would either use a Shinkansen or some type of rapid train or airplane. And that's not cheap as well. This is why I say you can spend much over $5,000 a month as a digital nomad. So that simple price breakdown would be at least $1,000 for accommodation, and then transportation. It really depends on where you're going. You could easily spend $1,000 for transportation if you're using trains and planes, or even taxis. I don't think you use taxis so much. That's transportation. And then for food, you don't just travel around and not eat, or you don't travel around and eat cup ramen. It doesn't. You're not really enjoying the local cuisine. So you're traveling around, you're trying all the delicious local foods. You're going to restaurants that are highly rated. And then you can easily drop, just for one person, $100. So let's say you have a nice meal twice a week at a different location. That's $200 a week for nice food, not including your daily food. So let's say daily food, you spend between $10, $20, $1,000, $2,000 in a day for 1 or 2 meals. If you're really small and you don't eat much, you're under 1,000. So as you can already see, there's at least easily $2,000 to $3,000 can be spent, and this is that's the lower end. That's for someone who just wants to just make it by. So anyway, I hope that explains a bit more about the costs. And even now there's a typhoon, and it's also a public holiday weekend. So wherever you want to travel, the costs will go up quite a lot, sometimes double, and even sometimes triple. So you got to keep that in mind. So all these guys are acting all happy and all that, being digital nomads, and I mean, power to you. It's all great and all that. What am I talking about? I don't think I'm cool doing it in Japan. I think it's I'm wasting money, maybe. And then you also have to remember that if you have your apartment somewhere, it will cost you money. If you have your apartment somewhere, it would also cost you money to keep your apartment. So let's say your apartment is $800 a month. You'd have to add that onto your monthly expenses. So yeah, easily 3,000, easily. And the next one is it's really stressful. It can be very stressful. If you're always moving around trying to find somewhere to stay, trying to find something to eat. Maybe you have to buy a new shirt or something. You don't know where all the shops are. Oh, you got a toothache, you got to see a dentist, you got to research that. It's not your average, it's not your normal, you don't know what's happening around you. So if you're working a full-time job, or like 8-hour a day, 5 days a week job, you have to take into those considerations of the stresses of traveling. Even if you're just taking a holiday, the stress of traveling is enough for some people to not want to do it. And then, so that's why I always try to, so you have to be a freelancer. Maybe that's the best way to do it, is to be a freelancer. So my guess is most digital nomads are employed in a company and have to work certain hours a week, from a 9 to 5 or 10 to 7 or whatever they're doing. So you'd have to, if you want to enjoy local places, you have to always think, okay, can I finish work on time today? Do I have to work on the weekend, as many people do, especially in IT? You kind of do. I mean, that's what I do. So the stress of completing your day job while traveling, it just adds to it. If you're by yourself, even if you're by yourself traveling, and then that stress also comes from, okay, my employer or my clients know that I'm traveling. They know I'm fully remote. If I show them any sign of weakness, they might think, okay, Tyrone can't do it. He better come to the office and work, because we can't trust him completing tasks while he's running around this whole country. So that's the stress part. And I've also kind of been homeless for the last 2 years and a half. And that's also been good to learn about minimalism. So about minimalism and digital nomading. You will be forced to minimize what you carry with you. As I said before, it's like ladies getting pictures with old man taking pictures of ladies. It's a service. Anyway, they must have great profits. So what I'm trying to get to here is, what am I trying to talk about now? Okay, forced minimalism. I don't like this whole people acting about minimalism, this and it's a trend. Most people don't even do it. It's just for clickbait people. But I truly think I am one of the realist minimalists, not these fake minimalists. So living out of a backpack, you've really got to learn how to live out of your backpack as a worker. So if you are a backpacker traveling for fun, it's different. But if you're a worker in IT, you've got to buy a lot of crap. So I have my MacBook or whatever computer you use. If you use a mouse, okay, you want a separate keyboard. You want a certain type of stand. Maybe you like gaming on your laptop, so you have to have some other heavy parts. So you have to calculate how heavy your luggage will be, your backpack. And then for clothing, you can't just have a lot of clothes. You've got to stick to, wait for these guys to pass. You can't just buy what you want because you think it looks cool. Okay, of course I look cool because look at me, my cool shirt from Vietnam. But let's put that aside for a second. You can't shop so much and buy crap. You can't buy crap that you don't care about. Oh wait, you can't buy crap you don't need to impress people you don't care about. Hey, isn't that what they said in like the Fight Club or something? I forgot. Awesome movie. So you will be forced into minimalism. So I have always have the same shoes. There's a New Balance, a bit hole in it, and the back is ripping, tearing. But I can't just throw things away when it's ripping a bit or tearing up. I can't just buy another pair of shoes and keep these because it won't fit in my backpack. So I will be forced into minimalism. I have one pair of shoes and one pair of flip-flops, sandals. Okay, this guy's noisy. You also won't be buying souvenirs, you won't be buying the latest whatevers because you have nowhere to store them as you're always on the move. Once you start working remotely and going around, you will start to think, what am I working this company? I could have done this a long time ago. Why did I, what? You start questioning your company and work decisions a lot more. I think eventually you will have to go become a freelance something, or you might you will start thinking of starting your own thing, or you just walk around like me, like an idiot with a camera in his face, going around and scaring the locals who are just enjoying their Saturday. Oh look, this is like some Hawaiian thing. Let's have a look. Okay, one thing Fukuoka is awesome is they always have these small places to eat. Pretty nice. Oysters, meat. Fukuoka always have events, so they have like a few spaces, and they always have interesting outdoor events. So very cool. Yes. Oh, sorry mate, I'm a minimalist. I can't carry stuff. I've got nowhere to put my junk. Giggity. That's not a giggity moment. So this is a Bears of Japan festival right behind me. They've always got things happening in Fukuoka, and you can walk to each one of them. That's the great thing about this place. People are always outside doing stuff. So you will feel less connected to your workmates or a company because you won't see them around so much, which maybe is important for the next part, which I will talk about, is if you're in Japan traveling, there's not many other people. I mean, maybe it's because of what happened in 2000. My hair's everywhere. What happened in 2020, which I won't say the word. I don't want to, once you say the word, you get in trouble or something. I don't know. So once that happened, even before, people weren't really digital nomads in Japan. I don't know. I've only met one guy who did it, and he had a really good income, which is why he could do it. So if you see those kind of digital nomad places in like Argentina or Bali or Thailand, there's kind of a community. There's a lot of people in the community doing it. They have backpacker style where everyone just hangs out and acts all cool, you know, and talk about politics or something, and then you know, do their job online. But that thing, I couldn't really see it in the past few years in Japan. I've never seen it in Japan. So when you're traveling, you can go to backpackers, but it's just travelers, right? So you don't have that kind of digital nomad community here. And most of the backpackers don't accommodate this type of person. There are quite a few lately in Tokyo, but just because you have the location ready doesn't mean people are going to go to it, those type of customers. So the culture is not here in Japan from what I see, even before 2020. And because of that, you're kind of on your own as an online worker in Japan. You just got to find your own way. And then even like for me, I just stay in business hotels by myself. So what I'm trying to say is, digital nomading in Japan is for loners who appreciate, I don't know what they appreciate. What do I appreciate? Don't know. A good beer, some rice, some chicken. So yeah, digital nomads for losers who walk around with cameras in their hand and points them into your direction. So let's keep walking. And especially if you're over the age of fun, which is probably after 30 when you start thinking about more boring stuff and you enjoy more boring stuff, then you finding people to hang out and enjoy, it changes quite a bit. So once you become a certain age, so I'm 35 right now, is that you don't want to go and party in clubs and stuff. You don't want to go and party in clubs and all that kind of stuff. You more want to chill out, relax, maybe a glass of whiskey, and just talk about whatever have you. So when you want to do that, you're kind of limited to who you can hang out with, and probably all the young kids running around going crazy, but also that digital nomads, most are not that young. That's the other part. So when you're digital nomad, you won't find people your age. And kind of in general, Japanese people are respectful of your space. So they don't really talk, they won't approach you and talk, and some do, but in general, you don't get that kind of, hey man, where are you from? Let's drink together. It's not like that kind of thing. Not that people do it in other countries, but you won't be included into most things. So it's just you walking around a city looking like an alien and just enjoying the city. That's how it is. Which actually, this is what I'm trying to say, is it's not that it's a bad thing, but for loners like me, I like doing this. I like being alone, traveling, and just looking at things, eating things, just being maybe what we could say is freely traveling and doing what I want in Japan. Maybe that's it. That's all I'm doing. But for me, that's kind of a good thing. It means I can, I don't have to worry about having someone next to you or your friend with you, or your group with you. You gotta, I want to go there right now. Oh yeah, I actually want to go there right now. I don't want to go there. But if you're in a group, you kind of have to have some democratic vote of some sort. So that's cool. And if you're working kind of a stressful IT job, because I think people have the wrong impression of digital nomads, maybe just based on like YouTube or news channels. People are looking happy and they're just making loads of cash and enjoying life. That might be true though, but you're working in IT and this stuff's really stressful. So if you're working the weekdays, in most cases, you don't want to be drinking and partying on the weekdays, because the next day you'll get messed up and you can't stay awake or you can't focus because you have to finish one of the client's demands and it has to work 100%, or else you won't get fired, but you don't like the feeling of failing, or you don't like the feeling of getting in trouble. So that's another part. But I probably chose the worst time to travel to Japan since 2020. So that's another part, right? And that's kind of a lately issue. A current issue is that if you're traveling around, with the whole mask things and people keeping their distance, it kind of kills the buzz, if you know what I mean. Like they kind of, it doesn't feel good to travel, I think. It doesn't feel good to travel. They are preparing for the typhoon. That's what I think it is. Preparing for typhoon coming. So I don't know if I can make it out of the city. So we'll see about that. And I think that breaks down to the last final part, which is option overload. So imagine this. You're at the best bakery in the world and you can have anything you want for lunch and you're really hungry. It's really hard to choose what do you want to eat at the bakery. That's a bad analogy maybe. All I'm trying to say is if you can go anywhere and you have enough for living and all that, it's really hard to choose. You actually end up not knowing what you want. I hope this makes sense. So if you're free, what do you do with that freedom? That's all it is. If you can go anywhere, where would you go, but why would you go? And so you end up going to places just because, but then you start thinking, where do I want to go? And maybe you just want to go home. I think that's the reality of it. Maybe you just want a comfortable home with a cat and dog and a nice living room and a nice kitchen space and your own espresso machine. Maybe that's all you really want. Who knows? But you have too many options where you feel like you don't want to do anything. Oh, that also makes me think of another one. Is of course I've always got more to talk about. Is that your work rhythm will be messed up if you're living normally in your city that you're in and you have a home. You can have a good pattern. So you go through 5 days work, the weekend you'll chill out. But if you're constantly traveling, your environment of how you work and where you work changes. I don't know if you can work at your optimal performance. This is WeWork Fukuoka. Why? I don't know. WeWork's cool. I'll never use it. Too expensive. But so if you're always changing where you are, maybe your performance decreases because you can't get the right rhythm. The desk is funky. The chair hurts your back. You don't have your favorite cafe that you go every morning to get your cup of coffee and your scone, and then that cup of coffee and scone just sets the day for you. That sets the right energy or something. So when you don't have that and you're going here and there, you've got a massive backpack on you. You can't see my backpack, and then it's hurting your shoulder. Maybe you got to wash your hair. You don't have time to quickly move. Can't find my favorite shampoo. I can't carry it. There's all these minor daily life stuff that breaks your natural pattern. So unless you're I'm very flexible with things. If everything were to go to crap, I'm kind of fine with it. It is what it is. It's the way it's going to happen. Things going to happen. Shit's going to happen. So real digital nomads that move a lot. I'm not talking about the people who just stay in a resort for 1 year. That's not. I don't think that's not really digital nomading. I'm like a Genghis Khan style. I'll just roll up to the city and take all I can and get out. Nah, I don't do that. That's lies. That's lies. Stop lying, Tyrone. But anyway, just going from 1 week to another week, or 2 weeks in one city, 1 week in that one, maybe 1 weekend in this one. So that kind of lifestyle is really hard to keep up and stay keep your work good. Oh, what the hell is this? Thank you. Okay, this is the last one. But do you ever wake up and you wake up and you look into the ceiling? Ceiling, is that? Yeah. You look at your ceiling and you ask yourself, what the hell am I doing with my life? If you get that sometimes, it happens a lot when you stay in hotels. You're in a hotel and you're in the hotel bed and looking at the ceiling going, what the hell am I doing? It's not that you should be or shouldn't be doing something, but for some reasons, hotels do that to me. It makes me think, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? So if you saw my other channel, I try to show people while I digital nomad, like traveling stuff. And I realized it's really stressful to pack everything in while you're traveling. So I think that's part of the stress part. So traveling like 1 week or 2 weeks, you have a very small window to actually enjoy stuff, enjoy local things, go to museums, things like that.